Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Julio Cesar Almanza Aguilar. Yes, I'm going to properly introduce myself for those that don't know me and that are new to my channel. My family is from a small town in Mexico. It's called Moroleon, Guanajuato, and it's right next to Uriangato. Two small towns right next to each other. And back in the day, they were very small towns. I really don't remember like but it was small, maybe 30,000 at that. A lot of money. My family to this day is still out there, has businesses. It's just a beautiful town where they make clothes. There's food. It's a beautiful town. But my parents. My grandfather, decided that he wanted to come to the United States, and he relocated to Chicago. And my dad and his wife at the time were very young. I want to say about maybe 16, 15, and they came over. They were, they got married very young back then, and they started having kids young. I have two siblings, two sisters. Of those of you guys that follow me, you guys know that I don't really talk about my family that much, especially my sisters. My sisters are very sacred to me, my daughters. I come from a woman-dominant family. There's a lot of women in my family. My grandma's side, I had 6 aunts, I think about 13 girl cousins. So there's part of my story that I protect, to the fullest, that I don't share at all. But today, I'm gonna share just a little bit more about who I am and where I came from, because I think it's important, especially now that I'm starting to heal more. There's bits and pieces of my story now that make sense and are like, oh wow, like, I can't believe that I remember that. So when my parents, were together, they were young, and they had us very, very young. And I when I share my testimony, I always tell people, I remember the look on my mom's face when my dad abandoned her and kind of left her to fend for herself. I was about 4 years old. I remember the color of the hotel. I remember, I remember bits and pieces of everything, the car. I have to believe because it was traumatic for me, even though I was young. Obviously we know what fear is, even if we're little. So then the big decision came that she had to move in with her brother. And that's where I call them the dark days, started. The beginning of the abuse, the drowning, the water, the rape, the molestation, the mental abuse, because of if you say something, you're gonna end up homeless again, or if you don't say nothing to your father or your grandfather. I tell people sometimes I get really mad when people say, well, why didn't you say anything? Oh, that gets me so heated. It gets me so heated because, like, let me go back and tell a 4 or 5 year old little kid, well, why didn't you say anything? Like, they almost say like, oh, so you didn't say nothing because you were like liking it or something. Like, I don't know, but you don't understand the psychological grooming that I guess you could say that these people, get used to doing to pretty much have kids scared so they won't say nothing. Yeah, I didn't say nothing for years. And by the time, I was kind of 9 years old, I didn't know who I was. My whole identity was gone. My confidence was gone. My self-worth was gone. So what did I become? The next best thing? I became trouble. I became trouble. I got into so much trouble. Like, my mom got tired of beating me. And I just was like a wild horse. Like, I just didn't care. I started getting into gangs at a very young age, and I tell people, if you know my full story, it wasn't just one, it was multiple gangs, because I was moved around so much, from my grandma's to my aunt's, on 79th and Pippin to 59th and Holman to 26th Street, Cicero. You know, I was all over the place, Berwyn, and Chicago is a very highly gang infested city. So whatever area you're in, you know, there's a gang there. And, you know, I had to pretty much adapt and be a chameleon and to survive. But by the time I was in high school, I had already been part of 4 or 5 gangs. I mean, I'll be honest. I was looking for identity. I was looking for protection. I was looking for something to belong to. And then what's crazy is that I was even willing to die for it, or go to prison for life for it. By that time, I already knew how to steal cars. I knew how to retag them. For those that don't know how to do that, is you buy a car, you change the numbers, you resell it. You sell it like it's yours, or you drive it around like it's yours. Load a gun, fire a gun, chase people, hunt people. I knew how to get away from the cops. I knew how to survive because I had been surviving since I was 4. You know, in my gang days, funerals became normal. Friends getting shot, getting ran over, getting killed, it was normal. People don't understand the trauma of this. As I'm 16, turning into 17, now I'm working for the cartel in Mexico. Tell me what kid at that age is driving a car all the way to Apatzingán, Michoacán in Mexico from Chicago. You know, I tell people it wasn't normal. Me started working for them, started driving cars, moving cars from Mexico to the United States, with each car carrying about $100,000 in it worth of, you know, drugs, 6 to 7 at a time. You do the math. Like, at 17 years old, I thought I had made what I thought I had made it to what I wanted to become, like a kingpin, a narco. I wanted power, and this is because I still didn't have an identity. I still didn't have nothing to believe in. Then I got arrested in Mexico. After being arrested, after being roughed up, placed in the Mexican prison, and then getting stabbed. You see, being American, I tell people, I was used to the gun violence. I was used to the drive-bys. I was used to, it's a different kind of violence. But knives are different. Knives are personal, up close. And if you don't learn how to do that, you don't survive places like that. You know, I have the scars to prove it. You know, I got stabbed five times over there. It's something that you have to learn, survival again. You know, that prison in Mexico, it was its own world. And I always tell people, like, if you want to get like an insight of what Mexican prison was back then, it was exactly like Mel Gibson in that movie, Get the Gringo. He did an awesome job on that movie of bringing it together of what it is to do time in a Mexican prison, as close as it gets. You know, when I first got there, I had money, I had status. At first, I had my own cell with carpet, big screen TV, Nintendo. I was walking around with Nike windbreaker suits. You know, my people were taking care of me. You know, $1,000 a month in a Mexican prison is a lot of money. Besides that, I was working for the guy in charge. It's why I was able to party so much and, you know, eat at restaurants and kind of just really just kill time. It wasn't that I was learning my lesson. I was making more connections while I was there. I was there with a lot of people from all over different parts of Mexico, all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. But then my addiction came. My addiction to crack cocaine, it almost cost me my life. I think that's one of the biggest, lowest points in my life. Because after I became addicted to that, after that person introduced me to that, I lost everything. I sold everything. Carpet, sell, everything, to the point where I owed a really big amount of money. $7,000 to $10,000 in a Mexican prison is a lot of money, and I was blessed to have God looking over me, because they wanted to hurt me. They wanted to kill me. I went from living good to living in the poor unit, and as you guys could see that in the National Geographic episode Narco Neverland, where they moved me. I disrespected the person by owing all that money, because I went to a different unit to go get credit, because I had used all my other credit in another place. And there's certain things you just don't do in prison, because one, you can't go nowhere, and two, they like to get paid with blood when there's no money. I tell everybody, I sold everything. I sold my clothes, my jewelry, everything. I had one shirt and one pair of jeans at the end. I had a pair of boots that I had found in the trash that were way too big for me. They were like size 14, 15. They used to make fun of me because they used to say I looked like that guy from the Munsters. And I was so young, so resilient, that I really just kind of like made it through the day, toughed it out, man. There was times that I really came close to losing my life when I was out there, and being depressed, being away so far from everyone and everything,